Hey guys! What?
You are watching the RC Jet Jock, episode 38. Our Kingair receives new landing gear and other stuff.
Hey you guys, RC Jet Jock here, and we're with Donkey Girl, right? And we are going to show y'all how you take the Kingtwin from looking like that to that. That's right, we did landing gear upgrades, we did some more painting, and we added some scale details on the props. And that's right guys, y'all kept hounding me about it, and we finally got the battery hatch the same color as the fuselage. So guys, watch this. This is how we did it.
And it all starts here, the Flightline P-38 landing gear. Now obviously these landing gear were too tall, so we had to do some modifications. So first, we cut down the struts to make them shorter. Because the struts were shorter, we had to tap new holes for the set bolts. We used a bit that was just ever so slightly smaller than the size of the bolt. After we cut the spring down to size, we soldered it to the retract pin, so it wouldn't slide when it was in its new housing. Now we're going to begin tapping the holes that the set bolts go into. We just used the actual set bolt itself to cut the threads. It was aggravating, but we got it done. Now here's a size comparison of the two struts, before and after. We ended up pinching down the top of the strut onto the retract pin just for some extra security. Now we are cutting the original retract pin from the P-38 to size. Bombs away! Now before we get to installing the landing gear on the airplane, as promised, we're going to teach you how to make straight lines on the airplane without pulling up the paint. First, we measure how much tape we're going to need. Then we'll take the tape and we'll adhere it to this fabric surface. That way it'll pick up any kind of dust and stuff just to make the tape a little less sticky. That way it won't pull off that nice shiny finish. We will stick and unstick it about 6 or 7 times until, well, you kind of feel the bottom of it and it's just not as tacky as it once was. And what we're doing under the nacelles, you might ask? We are painting it flat black to look like, well, the real Hotel Victor. Now that the tape feels like the equivalent to the bottom of a Post-it note, we're going to press it firmly onto the airplane with confidence that it won't pull off the paint because, well, it's just not as sticky as it was. Now we're going to repeat this step several more times until all of the straight edges have tape. Now, you will notice as we go through this process that I'm not taping all of the straight edges, and that is because there are some really good lines for me to follow along with the paintbrush, so I won't need to tape all of the sides. Alright, it's paint time. We are going to be using Testors Flat Black Enamel we purchased from Hobby Lobby. When you are painting next to the tape, a little tip, because the tape is not as sticky as it once was, it's not going to protect as good. So just try not to put liberal amounts of the paint right up against the tape and you should be fine.
Time to make the fire.
Besides playing with fire and having a good time, what we're actually doing is creating flat spots on the retract pin. This is a very simple process. All you need is a vise, a Dremel tool, with a coarse grain sanding drum. After we complete this side, we do the other side as well for both set screws. First step in this process is to remove the wheel well covers. Now, they end up being pretty messed up, so good thing I was planning on putting gear doors. Next, we remove the retract, and then we take the set screws out of the base of the retract to pull out the strut. Then you pop in the new strut, put both set screws back in, and screw it back into place. The nose wheel was kind of a bear to get out because of the nose wheel steering push rod. Once we got the nose wheel retract out of the bay, we realized quickly that one of those stupid little C-clamps is what holds the top of the strut into the retract. So instead of messing with those silly little clamps, we decided to go ahead and cut the strut off of the retract, leaving enough room on the pin to slide easily into our new strut. Now, I'm not sure if y'all have noticed, but the new nose wheel strut required no modification and it slipped in just perfectly. Alright guys, ever since I did the repaint on the airplane, y'all have been telling me that it's been bothering y'all that the fuselage and the battery hatch don't match. Well, never fear, we were listening and here we go. By the way, we love all the comments. Keep them coming. As you can see, we've started taping up the windows. That way they're protected from the spray and the clear coat. Those little triangle windows were a hoot. Sorry I didn't film it, guys, but we went ahead and spray painted the battery hatch and the propellers that light gray color. We wanted to make the propellers look more scale. So right now I'm doing the striping by hand on the propeller tips. I'm also painting the black anti-ice boots on the propeller roots. Now you can see I'm starting to add silver detail around the windscreen. This is because in the real airplanes, these windows are actually electrically heated. Finally, it's time for me to get out the old Testors gloss white paint and paint those landing gear struts so they look a lot more scale. Now, something I didn't mention earlier is to accommodate the larger nose wheel, we had to break out some of that wood that was in the wheel well for the nose gear. Well, here she is, our Kingtwin 1700, or aka our Kingair E90, that we affectionately know as Hotel Victor. Next episodes with Hotel Victor, we are going to test out the landing gear at the airfield and put a few flights on her. Maybe even do a little bit of a torture test to see how the wheels hold up. And also, we'll be adding gear doors, so stay tuned for all of that.
All right, guys, well, that's how we did it. I hope y'all found that really helpful. Sorry we've been kind of slow on the Facebook page and we didn't do as much as we wanted to for this video. We have been extremely busy with getting out of this current house into our new property. So, like I said, once again, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. We're playing with props back here. Hey, what are you doing? And guys, get your families involved. It's nuts. It's never dull. It's a lot of fun. And please subscribe, like, drop some comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye!